Hi Capricorn, welcome to Spiritualista. This is your energy forecast for the 22nd until the 28th of September. If you like a personalized deep dive reading, the link to my Etsy shop is below. And this is a new format. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, then this might be the first time you're seeing my face on this channel, or you saw it in the face reveal video that I made a few days ago. And yeah, this is how it's gonna be like, at least if I don't get tired of it, because it's a little bit more time consuming than usual, but we can probably manage if it's worth it. So we're gonna see what the view count. This like initial period of making videos on YouTube is all about experimenting. So let's see if you guys like it. Hopefully comment down below. And we're still gonna keep it a little bit familiar with the top-down view of the cards, especially with this beautiful new deck that I just got. So yeah, let's get right to it and see what the universe has for you the upcoming week. So Capricorn, let's do a little pre-shuffle here for you guys, and we're gonna see. Universe, please tap into Capricorn energy for the 22nd until the 28th of September. And let's see here, Capricorn, please tap into the highest possible source for Capricorn so that we can get their messages coming through for next week. Okay, we got the first main card here, which is the Knight of Pentacles. Taurus just got that one too. I think it's so Taurus, this card, but it is an earth element, so it's very fitting for an earth sign reading. So let's put it down here. This is your present moment card, the Knight of Pentacles. You're being crossed. Okay, you're being crossed by the Eight of Swords. That is already a challenging card, and now you have it in your challenging position, which does make perfect sense. I'd rather have that card there than have, for example, the Lovers or the Sun, because it is already challenging, so it's nothing new really with that card. Another little bit of a challenge here is that you have your crowning position, or your mind, your conscious mind, right now with the Five of Cups. So there's a little bit of sadness there for you guys going on. And then you have your foundation energy with the Nine of Wands. Ooh. Guys, you're going through a tough time right now. I'm already sensing that just from, oh my gosh, okay, so your recent past, Five of Wands, so makes sense. You're coming out of some conflict there. Oof. Yeah, you've been in a heavy season, Capricorn. I don't know what's going on. We're gonna see the Devil in your near future. However, I always say this is the Capricorn archetype, this card, so it's way different when you guys get it in your reading, because this could just be that you are in alignment with your own energy. It's not like the Devil is always about addiction, it's about having unhealthy attachments, but in your case it is your archetype energy. It is the Capricorn archetype card, so not necessarily a bad thing for you having this here, but there is a little bit of heaviness for sure so far in this reading. So let's hope for some positive cards here in the pile. Okay, so now we have your suggested approach. That is the Two of Swords, so a little bit of entrapment there, a little bit of confusion. And we have what you need to know with Death. Another one that is always seen as very negative, not the case with Death. Death is just about transformation, it's about change, which is very much required, especially if you're coming from a place with the Five of Wands, which is a lot of conflict and drama. So this is good, this is good. You're needing to step out of that for sure. And positive card, we have the Queen of Pentacles there as your hopes and fears. And let's see here, your potential future, that is the Four of Cups. So a little bit of apathy going on there, a little bit of disinterest. And the bottom of the deck, it was worth it. See, it was worth the wait. So that's the underlying energy for the entire reading, which says that even though we have the majority of the cards being like negative, they're not negative, it's just archetypes, like they're a little bit heavier in energy. We do have the Lovers as the undercurrent for this reading, so it is a very, very positive undertone that we have working for us today. So let's get right to it. So Capricorn, here at the center of your reading, you're starting with the Knight of Pentacles, and this is your present moment energy. So let's talk about this Knight, because this energy, this archetype here, is super reliable, like very, very focused on long-term, more like steady progress. And he always moves very slowly, very, very slowly, but he always moves with purpose. So at the heart of your week, there's a sense of persistence here where you're showing up to do the work and to build your things like step by step. So it's a very grounded energy here, and it reflects you. and your overall energy of just consistency as a Capricorn. And then you're being crossed by the Eight of Swords. So this is a card of, like, it's a little bit of anxiety. It speaks about feeling very trapped and limited and not being able to see your options clearly due to feeling a little bit blocked here. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the path is truly blocked for you guys, but it usually points to your perception and to your mental patterns that are convincing you that you're more restricted than you actually are. So when we bring these two together, the present moment feels like it's this, like you're trying to move steadily forward here, but you feel really stuck in your head about what's possible. And there's this inner tension here between the persistence of the Knight and the uncertainty here of the Eight of Swords. So on one side, you know that progress comes with patience and this consistent effort here, but on the other side, you might feel limited and stunted by your doubts and your fears. And yeah, you feel like you're going through some sort of like external restrictions right now. So the message here is that even if the path here looks really narrow and skinny and like really impossible, the Knight of Pentacles is going to find its way, like it does. So step by step, you can move through this stuckness here with the Eight of Swords. And then you're crowning, which means, yeah, that's your conscious mind. That's what's actively on your mind right now. Yeah, that's the Five of Cups. So that's a card about regret and like disappointment that's still lingering within you. So yeah, like I said before, it's sadness energy here. So there's definitely some sadness. There's some grief going on for you. And it's that sense of looking at what's been lost here and just feeling the weight of that. So sometimes it's about a relationship, and other times it could be about opportunities too. Like moments that you kind of wish would have gone differently if you would have handled it differently or like said something differently here. And you're kind of lingering in that headspace of what could I have done instead of what I actually did that produced this sort of outcome for me that's resulting in this sadness here. So it suggests that, like, since it's crowning, like it's your top of your mind card, part of your mental space is still really drawn towards the past here, and it's still processing something that didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to. So the key with this card is that there's still, as you can see here, there's two upright cups right behind him here. So yeah, the story isn't finished with this one, but right now the focus of your thoughts is really heavy and it's circling around this loss here rather than what's still standing here and what is still available to you. And the Foundation card, so that's your subconscious mind, that's like your soul level. That's the Nine of Wands. So this is about resilience, it's about like persistence. So this is the energy of someone that's been really through challenge after challenge after challenge and some tough times, but still refuses to give up. So deep down, Capricorn, you're holding on to this really strong survival instinct here. And even if you're tired, which you are here, and you're really worn out by this card says that you've made it this far. So now you're just not, your instinct, your natural instinct isn't to back down. You're still standing there. So this is your base, right? There's like grit, there's endurance. And it tells me that beneath all the mental weight here of the Eight of Swords and this sorrow, this sadness here with the Five of Cups, there's still this core of strength here that's holding you upright in this moment. So together, like, they create a really powerful contrast, these two, because on the surface, your mind is absorbed in this sadness and regret, but at your root, you're sturdier than you feel. And one part of you just really mourns this thing here that was lost. But another part of you is just like digging in and saying that you can actually withstand that, and you know that at a soul level. So together they tell me that even if your perspective is a little bit skewed and clouded here by this grief and this disappointment here, your foundation is resilience. So I think you might feel a little bit fragile, but your core is really strong, at least. And that endurance is going to be the thing that's going to carry you through this heaviness and into this next phase of your story. And in the recent past, this makes sense too as why you were put in this situation here. So this card here gives us the answer for that, because that's the Five of Wands. So that's a card about conflict. It's a very like scattered, like competitive energy with this card. So it doesn't always mean like outward fighting. Like sometimes it's just that feeling of having like too many voices at once surrounding you and struggling to find order when everyone around you has a different agenda and they're trying to all play out their agendas in their way, and you're just not really knowing which one you should listen to and which one you should act upon here. So this could have looked for you like tension and conflict in relationships and disagreements. Could be at work as well, like that you were experiencing that with your colleagues for sure. But there's definitely a surrounding chaos going on for you here, has been in your recent past there, where you were just, being pulled in different directions here. And the point is that things have felt really heavy and messy for you here. And while the 5 of Wands can be really draining, it's also sharpening you, and it's forcing you to define what really matters when there's this noise going on everywhere that is just like kind of distracting you and putting you off balance and just shaking up your energy here. And then in the near future is the Devil. So that's looking ahead. That's the near future as this position. So like I said before, everybody's scared of the Devil. Which, I mean, if you are another sign and if you don't have any Capricorn placements, yeah, for sure, that could be a tricky card to deal with. But this is your archetype, so, and I don't mean that to, but like be rude, like it's just it's the case. Like the major arcanas have an archetype either through the zodiac or through just planetary alignments here. So the Devil is the Capricorn archetype here, and this is like, it carries your energy too, like it's ambition, it's persistence, it's intensity, like it's the ability to confront reality as it is, you know. So yeah, it's true that it can in a lot of cases point to entanglement, like patterns and temptations and like attachments and things that are feeling like really hard to break out of. But for you, it also represents self-mastery through awareness. So this card is telling you that you're being shown where you feel bound so that you can claim that power over that, because that's how you do it, you know. And because it's your archetype, the Devil is also a reminder of your strength. So it's not like a card about punishment, or it's not a card about doom in this case, but it's about looking directly at what holds you, and whether that's fear or if it's doubt, or like, I don't know, could be doubt about this, like these external expectations here. And it's about you realizing that you're stronger than this, and you're stronger than these chains, and you can actually break out of that. So connected to the 5 of Wands in your past, like they formed this sort of progression here where you've been in this conflict and you've been facing this scattered energy and competition here, and now you're moving into a stage where you confront the deeper layers beneath that and the patterns and attachments that create those conflicts on those dynamics in the first place. So this is an opportunity for self-awareness and empowerment for you guys. And the Devil in your spread isn't here to trap you, but like it's a mirror of your strength back to you. So it reminds you that what feels binding can actually be transformed into this fuel for your growth. And then the 2 of Swords here, this is the suggested approach placement. So this is your advice for the upcoming week. And this is a card about decision making, but yeah, it highlights that avoidance and delay doesn't serve you here. So it asks you to sit with your options and acknowledge the truth of both, and then move towards that clarity. And sometimes this card, like, it shows up when emotions like fear are making you hesitate. So the message here is to choose with honesty, even if the choice feels really uncomfortable for you right now. And then Death here, another one that is like classically scary. So let me explain, like, this is what you need to know, like this is your surrounding energies displacement. So with Death here, like it doesn't point to an ending in like a literal sense, like someone literally dying, but it's transformation. Like I said, you know, it's something in your life that is sort of ready to change shape here. And Death, this card and this energy just clears space for that rebirth. So it's that release of what doesn't serve you anymore, so that new energy can enter, and so that what you need to know is that transition is at play here, and resistance won't stop it. So just lean into that change. Like that's the thing that's going to serve you better than just holding on too tightly to it. So that's what it's saying. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles here in your hopes and fears. So that's you just longing for stability and comfort, and to feel able to care both for yourself, but also for the people around you in more practical and like grounded ways. So there's a subtle fear that you won't be able to provide that steadiness, or that you're going to be stretched beyond your resources here. So this card shows that you're really craving like nurturing, but your mind might be worried about sustainability. And then the Four of Cups here in the potential future. So looking ahead, this card is about discernment, and it's about taking a pause to notice whether that's being offered in a way that actually fulfills you, you know? So it can bring a sense of apathy here, like I said, and it can be a little like a card about boredom a little bit, if the opportunities around you don't match your deeper needs. But it also holds the potential for breakthrough if you shift your focus. And sometimes what you're looking for is right there, but it requires presence, and it requires you to be open enough to be able to see it. And then we have the Lovers at the bottom. Like I said, it was worth it. It was worth it, even with all the drama here. You do have an amazing archetype here that is the undercurrent for this week's alignment. So it's all about alignment for you. It's all about soul connections here. And it's all about like, this card is about choices too, that are like heart-based choices, like soul-based choices. And it's also about relationships that act as mirrors for your growth. So the Lovers ask you to choose with integrity, whether that's like in love, whether that's in relationships, in your work life, or like in your personal directions. Like beneath every other card, this energy is reminding you that your path now is about authenticity and commitment to what resonates the most deeply to you. So this week, to tie it all together, like it starts here with the Knight of Pentacles crossed by Eight of Swords, and its persistence meets this feeling of restriction here, where you're working really hard step by step, but your own doubts and your own mental patterns here might be making the path feel really tighter than it is. And then on your mind, you have the Five of Cups. So that's showing me that you're still processing some loss and regret. While at your root here with the Nine of Wands, it proves that you're stronger than you feel, and you're holding resilience through everything. So the Five of Wands here in your past, yeah, it's showing some conflict and like scattered energy. And then ahead with the archetype of yours here with the Devil, it's just more like a mirror than a warning in this case. And it reminds you that your own intensity and power is there to ask you to confront attachments and patterns directly so that you can master them. And your approach, or your suggested like advice, is the Two of Swords. So that's to face choices head on instead of postponing them. And around you with the Death card, it shows transformation that's already in motion here. So your hopes and fears, it's the Queen of Pentacles. So that's like the longing for stability. It's your longing for care. And also in the fear position, it's sort of like your worry about whether you can actually provide that. And then the Four of Cups in your potential future tells me about you having this sort of like, I don't know, like a moment of reflection where you're gonna pause to consider if what's being offered to you really matches your deeper desires. And the overall current, like shown by the Lovers, reminds you that this whole journey here is leading you towards alignment with your own values and your choices, and then in turn with your relationship. So the bigger story here is one of transformation through endurance and of choice. And you're carrying resilience here from the past that is actually helping you confront the patterns that you have here in the present, so that you're gonna be facing some clarity that you're gonna need to face in order to step into your future. And the Lovers at your base tells me that this week is all about committing to what feels authentic so that you can move forward like free of your own old chains here and just closer to real actual fulfillment. And that's all I have for you today, Capricorn. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this reading resonated, and if so, please give it a like and let me know in the comments below which part resonated the most with you guys. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to continue watching these videos, because the channel is still tiny. It's a baby YouTube channel, so the algorithm is still having a little bit of a hard time finding my content and pushing it out to the right people. So if you want to make sure to be able to find my channel again and find these videos, make sure to hit subscribe so that you can ring the little bell and get a notification when I post, because I post every week. So hopefully I'll see you guys the next week with another update for your energy. Okay, bye.